Hey folks, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community on the planet. Today's Saturday, August 12th. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to be doing the weekly rapid fire news update for the period August 5th to August 11th. Again, if you're not familiar with this new format, essentially I just go over the important news, what I deem important, and you might have missed over the week. And this isn't meant to go in deep dive or anything like that. It's just to give you the brief news articles and the important articles that happened over the week. And perhaps you may have missed something, and then you can go and research it further if you feel so inclined to do so. But like I said, we'll go through what transpired over the last week or so. And again, if there's anything that you want to research on your own time, feel free to do that. But if you want to support the channel, you can like this video, share it with anybody that might find value. You can tick the bell, subscribe, and you'll be notified on any future live streams or when I post a new video. Also, speaking of supporting the channel, you can go over to x.com or formerly twitter.com, and you can follow Pow Group on X. The handle is @GroupPow. So again, @GroupPow. That's going to be my platform of choice going forward. So moving on, Ohio legalization campaign submits additional signatures to qualify for ballot. Activists in Ohio last week submitted additional 6,500 signatures in support of a recreational MJ legalization initiative after originally falling short of the number needed to qualify for the proposal for the ballot. And again, this is just going to be game theory playing out, right? The more time goes on, the more that we're going to see each state, more and more states, more than likely going to see legalization of medical in the U.S. over the next year or two, in my opinion, and then the federal government will probably leave it up to each state, right? But we're in the 30s now. It's just going to be a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, but when we get full-blown legalization at the rec level in the United States. Also, the Canadian government is currently reviewing the MJ Act here in Canada. We know that. So we could see some changes with regards to regulatory landscape here in Canada, packaging, labeling, distribution, all that stuff, marketing, and taxation. But the Canadian government among top unpaid creditors of failed MJ businesses. So as we know, the Canadian government has been the biggest beneficiary of MJ legalization here in Canada. They continue to rack up tons of taxes and tax money from this, but also they are now the biggest creditor, right? There's thousands of LPs, there's over 1,000 LPs and hundreds of millions of unpaid federal excise taxes, right? And there's companies that are going insolvent, bankrupt. This is just a trend that's going to continue until the landscape changes here. And it's been almost 5 years. We need to get with the times, and we need to, and even the federal government here in Canada said it's time that we start to support the MJ industry. So it's time for change. MJ Moment reports Colorado law allowing online MJ sales officially takes effect. We have an Israeli company and German operator IMMJ gets NASDAQ price warning. So that's IMMJ Corp. And this is not the only one. There's been tons of companies here in Canada that have gotten this warning, right? It's kind of a trend. And the reason why we only see that trend in Canadian names is because they're the only ones listed on the U.S. major exchanges like the NYSE and the NASDAQ. The reason why we're not seeing MSOs, multi-state operators, get that warning is because they're listed on the CSE or the Toronto Stock Exchange. If you look at TerraSen, and then most of them are on the OTC, right? So there's no requirement for that $1. But they will probably have the same issues in the not too distant future once we get safe banking and uplisting of the NYSE and the NASDAQ. I think rescheduling most likely into the end of the year as well. So lots to look forward to and lots of catalysts on the horizon. Like I said, legalization of U.S. Medical, and then potential for Germany as well, which we'll cover here in a moment, and then Canada reviewing the MJ Act as well. But I did a video on this. Tilray Brands announces agreement to acquire 8 beer and beverage brands from Anheuser-Busch, the maker of Bud and Bud Light, fueling Tilray's future in the U.S. craft beer industry. So I did a video on that. It's got almost 2,000 views. You can check that out for more details on that. Also, another interesting article, Bill Gates confesses to Seth Rogen he smoked MJ in high school to be cool. Awesome. In other news, MJ Biz Daily, MJ industry spends millions lobbying as the shutdown threatens safe banking. So as we know, we're going through the shutdown in Congress right now. We know that there's the August recess. So in about 4 weeks, they'll come back. And then there's going to be a big push to get safe banking done in the end of the year. And then October marks the 1 year for HHS, where Biden had asked them to reclassify MJ and look at the science, see what the science is saying, and then potentially reschedule it or even deschedule it. I don't think it's going to get descheduled. I don't think it's going to get treated as alcohol and tobacco right off the hop. I think it's going to be most likely Schedule 3. They'll do it in a phased approach, and then if we get Schedule 3 or higher, or even descheduling, that will solve 280E tax burden. Safe banking would be great, but it doesn't solve 280E, at least not how the verbiage is written now. So that's what I think is the most likely into the end of the year. But it's great to see that The MJ industry is spending millions in lobbying. We know that Apple and Amazon are backing reform in the U.S. as well. Uber partnered with Leapfly in British Columbia, and we're seeing deliveries there from big tech. So it's just a matter of time, like I said, game theory playing out. But Verano reports 3% sequential revenue growth in Q2 to $234.1 million. Going to try to keep going as quickly as possible here. I try to keep these videos around 10 minutes long. Kronos Group reports weaker Q2. I did a video on that one as well. You can check that out for more details on that. DeSantis approved Florida law bans recreational MJ ads while instituting more industry worker restrictions. We also have top Wisconsin GOP lawmaker plans to file medical MJ bill this fall as state becomes island of prohibition. So again, we're starting to see more and more. There's even more and more states that are doing loopholes and workarounds, the 280E. So again, we're starting to see this domino effect. We're starting to see the writing on the wall, and we're starting to see medical. We're starting to see 280E workarounds, and in my opinion, that is the most likely scenario that we're going to see for Catalyst here into the end of the year and into 2024 and beyond. Study shows MJ is significantly associated with reduced use of unregulated opioids. So again, the pharmaceutical industry has the most to lose, in my opinion, than big tobacco, big alcohol from MJ legalization and medicine of the future. GTI Q3 revenue increases 2% sequentially to $252 million. So I covered that as well in another video. You can check it out. Grow Generation misses revenue forecast and cuts outlook. So net revenue of $63.9 million represents a 12% sequential improvement from prior quarter. Net loss of $5.7 million and non-GAAP adjusted EBITDA profit of $0.9 million, driven by sequentially stronger sales. So they did miss estimates there. I had a couple requests to do a video on that. I'll try to get that out as soon as possible. Ascend Wellness Q2 revenue increases to record $123 million. Great to see. WM Technology Q2 revenue bounces to $50.9 million. We also had Schwazze announce his second quarter 2023 financial results. Q2 revenue of $42.4 million, income from operations of $5 million, adjusted EBITDA of $13.8 million, a 33% of revenue. Generated $2.7 million of operating cash flow. Multi-state MJ operator Schwazze also continues its expansion in New Mexico with new Our Greenleaf store opening in Hobbs. Former mayor of Adelanto, California, not familiar with that, but California, sentenced to federal prison for accepting MJ-related bribes. Not good, but there's good and bad actors in every corner of every industry. Los Angeles mayor expected to pick new chief for city's MJ agency. We also have TrueLeaf Q2 revenue slipping 3% sequentially to $281.8 million. I did a video on that one as well. There was some news with the CFO, ex-CFO, which we'll talk about here in a minute, wrongly expensing some things. There's some sketchy things going on with that company. Definitely can't be overlooked. MJ Moment reports, even with Republican support for MJ legalization at record high, partisan gap persists as more Democrats embrace reform. Gallup finds. We also had top German official expecting federal cabinet to approve MJ legalization bill next week. So again, that was on August 9th. So we could see that as early as next week. But leading into the end of the year here, that's another catalyst that we'll be looking at. And lots of names like Tilray, Curaleaf, very well positioned for that expansion and that new market. Also, Oxley to report second quarter 2023 financial results on August 14th, 2023. So it'll be for the second quarter 2023 ended June 30th on Monday, August 14th, before the financial markets open. And then the company will not host an earnings conference call, and the company does not anticipate reinstating earnings conference calls until further notice. So we know Hexo did something similar, but interesting. Moving on, medical MJ exports lift Village Farms Canadian sales. We also have TrueLeaf MJ alleges ex-CFO wrongly expensed more than $350,000. So I did a video on this one, but he allegedly sought reimbursements for personal expenses and used the MSO's corporate credit card inappropriately, racking up as much as $400,000 in personal expenses. And again, there was a employee that died on the site at work, and then ex-husband or the husband of the CEO, Kim Rivers, was sentenced to prison and $1 million fine, I think over $1 million fine for bribery and a RICO case. So there's just a lot of questions, more than answers, and just pretty sketchy what's going on here with TrueLeaf. And I don't own it directly; I own it indirectly through an ETF. But I just think there's better options out there. And until we start to see some of this sketch, this suspicious activity and this sketchiness go away, I just can't imagine owning it individually. Curaleaf reported second quarter 2023 results. I also did a video on that one. You can check that out. 3 northeastern states set monthly MJ sales records in July. So Maine, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island all sitting at new records in July. Great to see. New York's first MJ Farmers Market will open this week. Regulators announce. Pretty cool. Would love to experience that one day. Also, Canopy Growth crushed estimates. They reported first quarter 2023, year 2024 financial results, and they beat earnings per share estimates and revenue estimates. Also, BZAM completes sale of its Midway, British Columbia facility. We also have sales for Scott's MJ subsidiary plummet again in the latest quarter. So Hawthorne Gardening Co., the MJ Grow subsidiary of Scott's Miracle Grow, were further diminished for the quarter ending July 1st. So again, not seeing, a lot of people are asking me about that. I'm just not seeing any attractiveness to that. I think there's better opportunities out there than Scott's Miracle Grow, to be completely honest with you. Breckenridge Distillery announces new and expanded partnership with Denver Broncos. So reported by Tilray Brands, great to see. They continue to expand partnerships. Aurora MJ announces fiscal 2024 first quarter results and delivers record positive adjusted EBITDA. I did a video on that one as well. They absolutely crushed their earnings as well. You can check that out. MJ Moment reports fully half of American adults have tried MJ, with current MJ smoking outpacing cigarettes, Gallup poll shows. We also have Biden admin has no record of MJ letter cited by DEA head in congressional testimony. And then Cureleaf Select brand expands product offerings with launch of Select Liquid Diamonds. Really liking some of those new brands from Cureleaf as well. Also, Charlotte's Web reported second quarter 2023 financial results. So again, you can check that out for more details. I want to wrap this up as we're over the 10-minute mark here. But Juicy Holdings Inc. reports second quarter 2023 financial results as well. You can check that out for more details. And then I just did a video on this. Molson Coors Tilray search for next billion-dollar idea and recent booze deals. So Molson Coors Tilray making some moves in the industry and adding to their beverage portfolios. And then we also know that Trust Beverage Co. is the joint venture between Molson Coors and Hexo, and then Tilray just acquired Hexo. So I did a video on that, discussing that if you want to check out more on that. And then also finally here, MJ Moment, smoking MJ increasingly seen as safer than cigarettes, American Medical Association Journal study finds. As we know, it is the medicine of the future. It is way healthier from a recreational standpoint. And in my opinion, MJ will be the best industry going forward. And in my opinion, the best industry on the planet. But in terms of opportunity and a percentage growth, I think MJ is probably going to steal the show over the next 2 to 3 years. But medicine of the future, I'm here for it. I'm super grateful to be here experiencing this with you all, giving you all the news. And again, this wasn't meant to go into deep dive or anything like that, trying to keep it around between 10 and 15 minutes. Try to keep it just over 10 minutes if it gets there. And try to keep it short and sweet. But a lot of people liking this new format. Let me know what you think of this new format in the comment section below. And let me know what you think of this news. We'll continue the conversation there. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Pal Group. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll see you in the next video.